right, guys, we have made it out. It is the Arma Tyken, or as I call it, the Arma Tyken. I will go over the parts as usual after the bash, but I've been a little bit excited about this one because this, I believe, is the Arma model that Arma never put out and should definitely still do. So we're gonna speed run it like we usually do. As always, this is not a speed run car, but it's always fun and curious to see how fast it is. So let's get to it. As usual, we've got the GNSS performance analyzer. We're gonna put it on track, start. Make sure we're reading. Let's see what she's got. Whoa, it went into reverse. What the hell, dude? I went to go press the stop, to brake, and it went into reverse over the damn curb. It's stop, read, 58 miles an hour. That's about what I expected. This thing's not geared really high. I didn't want it to be. I want it to be a little bit more balanced between speeds so that it can be more skate park friendly. I noticed that at the skate park, having that super high gearing that's good for the big ramp is really bad for the skate park. It makes it hard to control. So I think this is a happy medium.
Oh, wow.
I didn't want to go out there. Nice. We did exactly what I thought we were gonna do. We did right in front of the second flag, which is 130 or 125. I predicted 130 and I landed almost exactly 130. I hit the freaking puddle of water. I almost didn't hit that ramp. Nice. She lands nice. Let's go, baby. Oh man, I didn't think it was gonna do that. Ah! There we go. Oh! Ah. Oh, there goes the body. I love the bodies and I hate the bodies. Couldn't see where it was. Ooh! Ooh! Did that not break? Holy moly. I totally just like lawn darted it. I mean, as usual. Freaking did it again, dude. Hit the puddle of water. Turned left to right on me. Oh, we're at LBC, dude.
Not the tree.
Oh my God. That's LBC. lost my body, man. Oh, that sucks. I lost the freaking body, dude. We're waiting, and we're waiting, we're waiting, we're waiting. All right. Nice. All right. Let's go. I like that little hip jump right there. Nice. Oh no, right side up. There we go. And downsided it a little bit there. Oh! 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 Okay, the body said nope. I got a tire that's unglued now. That was a brain fart on my end. Nice. Little 130 footer. That's about what she's geared for. Nice. Let's go, baby. There we go, got a nice little double out of it. Nice. Oh, ah, turtle behind it. So retarded. Oh, 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 oh my God, bro. That landed literally one arm first. I saw it. I bet the replay will show it. I literally landed on the, I think it was the passenger side arm down. Oh yeah, something must have taken shit. Yeah, it's turning hard right, which means that means I lost drive to my front. Oh, my front right, actually. Yep. Oh, did I land? What'd I do, nosedive that? That's not exactly what I was going for, but this thing is going higher than usual.
There we go.
Wonder if I can go in reverse. There we go. Yeah, right. Well, it makes it on the roof, that's for sure. Oh, I landed like right before the roof, dude. That's crazy. Oh, Jesus Christ. I figured I'd send it. All right, boys, we are back in the build room with the Tyken. So I guess I'll start off with, why did I call it the Tyken? And honestly, I was just trying to look for something that sounded like Arrma would name their cars, one of their models. You know, when I hear Fireteam, Outcast, Mojave, things like some of their other models, I think those are like more like one-offs. But when you hear Typhon and Creighton, you know Typhon and Creighton are one of their OG models. You know what I mean? So they've been around for a long time. So I wanted to try to come up with something that seemed like it's something that Arrma would have named one of their own models. So that's why I came up with Tyken. You can take it or leave it. If you don't like it, it's fine. I don't really care either way. But like I said, I was just trying to come up with something that I think would fit the theming of something Arrma would come up with. So either way, what is the Tyken, right? Well, to me, this is the model that Arrma has never built that they should. Because it is an amalgamation of all of their off-the-shelf parts, but it is something that is unique in terms of the layout. So starting off the front, basically we have a Fireteam front bumper. Then we have the Creighton 6S V2 EXB shock towers, both front and rear. Then we have Creighton 6S V2 EXB shocks. Then when we move down, we have stock Arrma bulkheads. And then we have the Mojave arms on the upper and lower. But then we have obviously Mojave CVDs. But we also have the Creighton V6. Let me see if I can turn around this way. We have Creighton V6 hubs, which is the new ones that have the captured pivot balls. And then, so one thing in particular, if you're gonna do something like this, you have the Mojave arms, upper and lowers, right? You have the Mojave CVDs, but then you have to use the Creighton V6, I believe I got it on camera. You have to use Creighton V6, or actually any Creighton, for that matter, Creighton stub axle. So the little stub axle that goes in here that locks into the hex adapter, that stub axle has to be out of a Creighton because it is longer, and you have to use that in order to fit this hub onto the car, basically. So then we have Creighton shock towers, Creighton shocks, Fireteam front bumper. The A, B, C, and D blocks would be out of a Creighton also, an EXB Creighton, but these are hot racing aluminum ones, so they are an upgrade. So not completely stock, but it's a small sort of like tasteful upgrade, I would say. And then on the top plate, so the top plate and the bell crank system, that whole entire assembly, along with the center diff to front top plate adapter here, that is actually also out of a Creighton V6. So everything in here in this area is all out of a Creighton V6. So then coming back over to the hubs on the toe links, this is just Mojave toe links, but a slight modification you have to do is right where the toe link goes into the hub, the Creighton V6 hub captures that toe link on the outer. It has a captured style setup. So you have to get the end, the little ball, not the end itself, not the plastic piece, but just the ball that goes inside of the plastic piece. You have to get that off of a Creighton V6. If you go to Horizon Hobby and you click on Creighton 6S V6 and then you go to parts and support, you can get an exploded view of the car, and you can literally click on the part you need and get the part number, and then go on Amazon and buy them dirt cheap. But yeah, so you're gonna need a little ball from the Creighton V6 because you're gonna have to be able to put a bolt through the whole thing versus bolting it into it. All right, so toe links, stub axles, shocks. Then the front top plate to center diff / motor mount brace here is off of a Outcast 6S EXB. Again, if you look up the car and you find the exploded view, you'll find this brace. This is all stock, okay? Then the center diff mount / adapter for this, or motor mount, this is also just out of a Creighton V6. It's a stock part. It's a Creighton V6 center diff / motor mount. And then going to the other side, what I did was put a Hobby Wing motor and ESC in this. This is a Max 8 G2 system with a 4278. I believe this is a 2200 kV motor, right? Yeah. Oh no, this is 2250. Sorry, 2250 kV motor. This was actually in my TLR Typhon speedrun car. I took it off of that, put it on here because I'm gonna put a different setup on that. So I went ahead and put that on here. As you can see, it's plenty fast enough. It does, and I'll get into the speed and all that in a minute. But so basically, 2250 kV Hobby Wing Max 8. It's geared 1850, so the stock center diff with an 18 tooth pinion. And what else? We've got an Amazon servo. It's nothing special. I figured you can use a stock, again, going on Jenny's RC on their website, you can get a Creighton V6 6S V6 servo for 26 bucks. So super cheap. But so then that's the servo is just an Amazon servo, but you can get a Creighton one. Now the top plate to chassis brace also out of an Outcast EXB 6S. Then on the rear center diff to rear tower brace, that's also out of an Outcast 6S EXB. Same thing with the brace that goes from the tower to the chassis, right? So now we've gotten to this point. Now the rear wing mount, the easiest way to get the wing mount that I've got on here is to just look up the new Creighton 6S V6. That wing mount is what I use, and actually that wing mount is what I use on almost all of my 6S trucks. I don't like using the 3D printed wings and wing mounts because they do not last. Okay, some guys will argue that because they're flexible, they work better and they don't break as easy. Yes, they will flex more, but the problem is that 3D printed wing mounts, there's two bolts that go through the wing mount and through the shock tower and into the bulkhead. Okay, they're meant to sandwich the bulkhead and the wing mount between the tower. The problem is those 3D printed wing mounts, the material they have is too soft, and you never get true torque on the bolt that holds the wing mount to the tower and then into the bulkhead. And what you end up with is a wing mount that starts to pull out of that bolt that holds it through. And eventually what you get is a bolt that's essentially loose because it's not holding anything down, and the wing mount just pulls through it. I've been through this many times. Trust me, I've bought every single 3D printed wing mount on the market. I've had some sent to me for free, and it's all the same exact problem. They all use the same material. It all moves too much, and it does not allow you to actually bolt the wing mount and have true torque on the bulkhead to tower/wing mount bolt. So anyway, the Kraton, they did start using this, Arrma did start using this wing mount earlier than the V6, but for the sake of making it easy for you guys to find, if you just look up the Kraton V6 wing mount, that's the wing mount I use. Then the rear shock tower is a Kraton 6S EXB version 2 shock tower, and the rear shocks are Kraton 6S V6 or Kraton 6S V2 shocks, EXB shocks. So they are all for the emulsion style shocks. Now, the standoffs are scorched RC standoffs. That is an upgrade also, and I did that mostly just for the purposes of having something that I know can be susceptible to breaking, just not break. I just don't want to deal with it. Now, I will say that the Kraton 6S V6 has really good standoffs. So if you wanted to go even cheaper than that, you can get the V6 standoffs, and I think they'll be just fine. I really do. I did this for the sake of just, I know how extreme my bashing is, and I know that that's something that may or may not be a problem, but I don't want to find out by breaking it, because I don't have a whole lot of time when I'm doing these things, and because I work a lot, and that'll probably be in another video, but I'm actually working on starting my own business as in automotive repair. So I've got a lot on my plate currently. So I try to build everything to where I just don't have to worry about breaking. So I try to put the parts on that I know have been proven durable. Anyway, so on the rear, we have Mojave arms and Mojave dog bones. Now, same thing. I used Kraton 6S V6 hubs on the rear. Now, and you need to have the stub axles, right? But, and the thing about the V6 hubs on the Kraton is that the width of this hub here is actually wider than than the stock ones, than the old version. So it makes a nice fit on the arm. It does a better job of fitting. Now, diffs. These diffs are all out of a Kraton V6. They are LSD diffs though, because I think the Kraton V6 might use LSD plates on the center diff, but not on the rear or front, or maybe it's the center and front and not the rear. I can't remember exactly, but essentially these have LSD diffs all the way front to back. The center diff outdrives are just stock outdrives. The front and rear outdrives are also stock Kraton V6 outdrives. So everything as far as the diff construction is all Arrma stock parts, for the exception of the actual internal parts have been upgraded to an EXB diff with the friction plate setup. But that's also stock Arrma parts. They just weren't exactly included when you pull them out of a Kraton. The fluid in the center diff, I believe, is 500,000, and I went with my old school setup, which was 500,000 in the center, 60,000 in the front diff, and 30K in the rear diff. So I believe these front body mounts are off of a Outcast, and the rear body mounts are off of a Kraton. This allowed me to put a 4S Kraton body, which is what you see painted up. It's Tyken or whatever. That's basically a 4S Kraton body. I did have to modify the holes to get these body mounts to fit. I couldn't really find another way to do it because I'd end up either too far forward or too far back. The body would sit too far forward or too far back. So the easiest way for me to do it was just elongate the holes on the body to get the body to fit. So yeah, rear toe links are basically Mojave toe links. Because it's a Mojave arm, the toe links are not toe links, these are actually the camber links. Because it's a Mojave arm, the Mojave camber links and toe links should fit because that's actually the same distance. The rack and the towers aren't that different. So let's see, what else do I have on this thing? These are Skeeter tires. These are off of a Team Corrales Skeeter. If you've been watching my channel long enough, you know I've used these on a lot of cars. I have a Italian 6S that's geared to go 70 miles an hour and does almost 200 feet. That has these Skeeter tires, and these are off of a 4S car, but they will handle 6S power and they will handle larger chassis, longer chassis. So Last but not least, this whole thing is riding on a M2C chassis. This is the chassis that goes on a Outcast / Typhon. So Typhon, Outcast, same exact chassis. I do have my droop screws set correctly, so they're not, this isn't full extension. If I were to take this shock off, these arms would go even further down. But I do that to save the shocks. But this is a M2C chassis. Of course, it held up just fine. You guys saw I did the skate park, I did the big ramp. This thing took an absolute beating, had zero issues, zero bends, none of that. So, but yeah, so essentially this rig to me represents the best Arrma could do for an all-around basher. Whether it's you wanted to go to the skate park. So to speak a little bit on the gearing, which I touched on at the beginning of the video, the gearing is 1850. Now I did 58 miles an hour as you guys saw. So my whole rationale for the gearing was that I noticed that my other, you know, like the Kraton and the Kagama and my Outcast, the gearing is so tall, it works great for the big ramp. For the big ramp, we're talking massive sends, you know what I mean? I can just send that thing out almost 200 feet and it works great, because what happens is when you hit the ramp, you're probably only going like 65, but now you have excess wheel speed left over to control the pitch of the car. So if the top speed of the car is 60 miles an hour and you hit the ramp at 60, by the time you come off that ramp and you hit that trigger, you've got no wheel speed left. So it's gonna be real hard to get the car to do any backflips. But if the gearing is for 70, maybe even 80, you hit the ramp at 65, you got another 15, 20 miles an hour to go of wheel speed, and that thing will flip on command. And that's essentially what I'm doing with the Kraton V6 and, you know, the Kagama and, you know, some of my bigger trucks. But with this car, I wanted to gear it so that it still will do backflips. You know, it will still do, you know, double backs and single backflips. It'll still do wheelies. But I wanted to gear it down just a tad, because I noticed that when you go to the skate park, that really tall gearing works against you. It makes the car really hard to control in terms of rotating. It also makes it hard to control in terms of figuring out your speed when you're going up to the ramp and you're trying to hit the gap that I usually hit and things like that. Because what happens is you come up to the face of the ramp, you give it gas, and before you know it, you're going way too fast. And then the thing launches super far, you know, so then you try to back that off, and then you don't go far enough. You know what I mean? So it makes, what you want is you want the sweep of the trigger to kind of match the speed of the car and how far you want to jump. But if half trigger gets you, you know, halfway across the skate park, it's like, dude, it's too much, you know? So with this car, I tried to gear the car exactly in such a way that it allows me to have good speed, good leftover wheel speed for the big ramp, but also have more a manageable speed difference between no trigger and full trigger for the skate park. So, and I think I did that. I think I was able to give myself room in any direction I went. The car will also drift, you know, it'll also do wheelies. So I think when you look at the totality of the setup with the Mojave arms, the Outcast bracing, the Kraton shock towers and shocks, this Fireteam front bumper saved this car's life, like big time, bro. That one landing that I hit nose first, dude, it was so bad. But it took it, you know, and this bumper did exactly what it was supposed to do. So I think my point was proven in a way where, like, if Arrma were to build this, they could build a, you know, not necessarily EXB version. They can make these braces out of plastic and give you a BLX version that might be in the $600 range. But they can also offer you an EXB version of it that will be in like the $700 to $800 range. You know what I mean? And it gives you a car that will do all of it. It will do the stunting, it will do the drifting, it will do the skate park, it will do the big ramp, it will do everything. And it's kind of what a Kraton is in a way, but the Kraton is bigger, you know what I mean? So this is a little bit smaller. It's like a scaled down version of a Kraton to a degree, but it's also a little bit buggy too. So I would say that if you really want to be technical, I would say that this is probably a trugified Typhon that has been trugified properly, meaning you've added taller shocks, taller towers, wider arms, bigger tires, etc. So, but I think, I don't even really know what you would call this, but I will also point out that I think the closest thing to this setup would be the Kagama 4. I've driven a lot of cars at this point, and the Kagama 4 truly feels like a different feel than all of the rest of these RCs. It really has its own sort of characteristics and the way that it steers and jumps and handles, and this probably comes closer to that. So if you've ever had a Kagama 4 and you want a sort of more extreme or more powerful and slash capable version of a Kagama 4, you would build this, because this is going to be more power, more speed. It's going to be more extreme just in general. I would say it's like if the Kagama 4, if you're at a point where the Kagama 4 is easy for you to drive, then you step up to something like this, and this gives you sort of like a more extreme version of what the Kagama 4 is. But of course, you'd have to put the parts together yourself and make it happen, you know, because they don't sell this, you know. But this is why I built it, and that's why I'm presenting it, because I feel like this wouldn't be hard for Arrma to do. I feel like this would be really, really easy for Arrma to build two versions of, you know, the cheaper one and the more expensive one. And it would be easy for them to just pull the parts out of the, you know, out of their catalog and just put it together, you know, because it really is mostly just parts that they already make. The only parts that are upgraded are the A, B, C, and D block and the chassis itself, but they can use their EXB 7075 chassis. So, and maybe they need to come up with a tire that's somewhere between the buggy tires and the truck tires, because that's what I think these skeeters are. So, I don't know. Anyway, I hope that explains it. I hope that explains the reason. I hope I have explained what's in it well enough. If not, and you're interested in building something like this, again, as always, just leave the questions in the comments and I will get to them as quickly as possible and give you any kind of details. And if you have a question about something that may need more explanation, maybe I can make a video of it, and you'll just have to leave those in the comments in order for me to know what you're trying to understand or what's not clear. So with that, I'm gonna wrap it up. Next week, I should have the sledge video out finally. Like I said in my last video, that sledge has turned into a nightmare because a lot of things have broken. Some of it my fault, some of it just really just bad design, etc. But we'll get to that, and I'll tell you all about it when we get there. So until next week, I will see you guys. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Keep on bashing.